All right, lads, and welcome back to the Off the Line podcast with myself, Jamie, and a special guest on for one night only, Mr. Thomas Lillywhite, who you can see hopefully on your screen. Hopefully everything's running smoothly. Tom, do you want to say a bit about yourself?
I'm Tom. I go to Winchester University, previously with these boys, and unfortunately, at the moment, I am a Liverpool fan.
Honestly, Liverpool fans get in saying things like, unfortunate, you just won the league. You just spent 250 million on transfers, and now you're having to watch your side lose to Everton and Wolves and everyone. It's not good.
And this is
Jamie, how are you?
I'm fine. I just wanted to say that this is our first video podcast, and we've been on the streams recently on YouTube Live, which have been really successful. We've had a great time on there, and we'll hopefully be starting to do that sort of weekly or fortnightly thing. We're really excited to do that because we love chatting with you lot in the chat and everything. But yeah, I just realised we hadn't done a video in a while, and it was getting a bit it was getting a bit quiet on the YouTube and on Spotify. So I thought we'd get on one of these. So if you're on listening to this on Spotify, we are doing a video podcast. If you want to see our lovely faces, hop over to YouTube. If you don't, stick on Spotify. That's what I'd do.
I was going to say, if you're left leaning, you're going to be very proud of my new haircut.
Yeah, Sam decided the clippers were the best way to go this week, and he shaved it all off. Tom Lillywhite's looking just beautiful as always. But yeah, because we haven't done this in a while, we're not really going to do a sort of last week this happened, next week this is going to happen. Well, we might do the next week, but we're going to sort of do a Christmas overview, what's happened, the big headlines and that sort of thing, and then we'll move on to sort of talking about Liverpool, which is Tom's favourite subject, and then we'll move on to sort of next week and what's going to happen there, and it's going to be a good show. Let's do it.
Definitely. All right. Should we talk about? So what we've done is kind of overview kind of the main points of the last week or the last few weeks over Christmas and what's been happening, and it's not been great for any of us really. So you're going to see a lot of disappointed faces.
I've been alright.
But the first thing we wanted to talk about was mine and Lillywhite's clubs, Liverpool and Chelsea, struggling for form over the Christmas break. One probably more so than the other, but both equally disappointing in their own way. We'll talk about Liverpool first.
Yeah.
We'll go into the last season's champions, who are going through a bit of a slump. I think slump's probably a bit dramatic.
It's a blip. It's a blip. It's 3 games without a win, which obviously for the champions is a little bit concerning, especially considering the opposition that they come up against in West Brom and Newcastle. Tom, what's your sort of outlook on what's happening at Liverpool at the moment?
I think obviously everybody's going to say the centre-back position is a big problem.
Yeah.
But looking at the last 3 games, I don't really think you can use that as an excuse. I think in those last 3 games, we've only conceded 2 goals. So the problem in those 3 games hasn't been the defensive issues. Obviously, I think we need a centre-back. I think it's clear for most people to see that we need a centre-back. But it's the attacking issues, and it comes back to obviously last year we had an amazing season and we were bagging in goals for fun, even the year before. But as a Liverpool fan, probably from 5 years previous to that, it was always we could never break down the smaller clubs.
Yeah, you were really a Robin Hood club, weren't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You look back at the games where Man City, we beat them 4-3 and it was back and forth. But we've always had a bit of a problem breaking down the smaller clubs. Even last year, we got a little bit lucky in some games, grabbing late goals.
Yeah.
But one shot on target against Southampton. Don't get me wrong, Southampton played really well, but
played fantastic.
It's not good enough for a team that's looking to win back up last year's league win with another one. And with the players you've got, especially, I don't think it's really been good enough the last few games, to be honest.
I think Liverpool have missed an injection off the bench, really. You know, you get to the back end of games like West Brom and Newcastle, obviously the game against Southampton the other day.
Hugely.
That would be a situation in which Klopp would turn to a player like Diogo Jota to come off the bench and provide a spark of brilliance, which he's proven earlier on in the year that he's more than capable of doing. I think they're missing that, and that's obviously an issue of just fitness. Teams are going to struggle this season because they've had to come back from finishing the season 3 months later than they would have done. So fitness was always going to be an issue for these teams. Obviously, Liverpool probably suffering more than most with that. Yeah. But it's an obstacle they're going to have to overcome. They're going to have to find some answers from somewhere. I think you have someone like Xherdan Shaqiri on the bench who seems to play quite well every time he comes on. I know a few Liverpool fans who swear by his ability.
Yeah, I think he played okay when he came on the other day. The player that seems to annoy me most whenever he comes on, and don't get me wrong, the guy who scored some unbelievably important goals for Liverpool in the past, Barcelona, Tottenham in the Champions League final. But Divock Origi, I think if you're begging for a goal and you're bringing Divock Origi off the bench, I don't think you're going to be in the same stead as... I hate them. Man United are bringing off the bench Edinson Cavani, Van de Beek, Pogba. They're resting Fernandes, Martial, Rashford in some games. Yeah. The difference in the standards of the players bringing off the bench. And of course, Jota, 40 million, going to be a huge miss. But a team of our standing should be having better players off the bench than Divock Origi.
Yeah, now what I would say about the state of the substitutions is you do lack that quality, especially when Firmino's misfiring, which at the moment, more often than not, he is misfiring. He had a recent sort of upturn in form, but I think he's not consistent enough for me at all. He'll go to a game and he'll get 2 goals and assists, he'll do these fancy flicks, he'll look absolutely like world beater, and then the next game he'll just have an absolute nightmare. So it is a matter of bringing that quality off the bench, and I don't think Divock Origi's at the level of Liverpool's aspirations. They need a proper striker coming on to replace him, which is what they wanted with Timo Werner, but obviously he went to Chelsea in the summer.
He dodged a bullet there, mate.
Yeah. But, Liverpool's season, I think, this next week is a defining time for Liverpool as a club. I think, didn't you just say that the Aston Villa game's been cancelled?
I think, from the looks of it, obviously Villa have had a massive outbreak. I think it's going to be cancelled if it hasn't been already.
Yeah,
it's on its way that way.
I think that's huge.
Game, yeah, I mean, you get a little bit of a rest for the United game, which
I think that's massive. Yeah, I think obviously Man United are going to have the fitness levels maybe on their side because they'll have a run out, but I don't think they'll play a full side. I can't see them playing Fernandes and Rashford. But I think we've been crying out for a week off. I can't remember the last time, apart from international breaks, that Liverpool had a week off. That's not making excuses. I think that's just being honest. So I think they need to use that properly, get their preparations in. I think if we beat Man United, everything will be back to normal. I think we'll be favourites again. But if Man United even nick a point at Anfield, I think City will be licking their lips.
Yeah. And United will be licking their lips as well, because you hate to admit it, United's form has been nothing short of sensational the past sort of 2 months, and we will talk about them in a bit. But should we move on to Sam's Chelsea now, and we'll talk about them? And, I mean, we described Liverpool's form as a blip. I think this is a slump for Chelsea at the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely what's happened in the last 6-7 weeks is definitely a kind of. It's a reality check for where we actually are as a squad and a team. We went 16, 17 games unbeaten, I think, in all competitions at one point this season. I think everyone got very ahead of themselves with the actual standard of our side. There's still a lot of work to be done, and I've been quite critical of Frank Lampard over the last kind of 2-3 weeks, in that his system seems to be just get it wide and cross it in and hope for the best with players like Giroud and Tammy Abraham in the middle. But I think the most troubling thing about Chelsea at the moment is that we're persisting with players that aren't giving us what we need. We're consistently playing Kovacic or Jorginho, both of which are hopelessly inept going forward. Right. Kovacic is excellent at bringing the ball from our third into the second third, but once these players enter the final third, having Mason Mount as our main attacking threat from the midfield isn't going to do enough, considering the fact that the top teams have all got really good midfielders coming through. You know, Bruno Fernandes at United, Thiago at Liverpool, you know, De Bruyne at City. These players that can transition from the middle third to the final third. And unfortunately, we've got the players to do that. Our best players in the second half against Manchester City were Gilmour, Havertz and Hudson-Odoi, the three boys that came off the bench. All three of them came on.
Been brilliant recently. When he comes onto the bench twice in the last 2 games, he's been fantastic. I can't see why he's not getting a start.
Well, Chelsea should be dropping Kovacic. Chelsea should be dropping Werner. Chelsea should be dropping Ziyech. They should be dropping these players, because at some point the manager's going to have to look at it and say that we're not performing. We're not getting results. It's been consistent now. We were beaten by Everton, beaten by Wolves, beaten by Arsenal, beaten by City. We had a pretty dull game against Aston Villa in which we scraped a point by the end, and we beat West Ham, and in a game I don't think we deserved to win. To be honest,
that was a very frustrating game for me, because I feel like West Ham probably played better than Chelsea for about 75 minutes of that game. You know, they got a nice set piece goal in early from Thiago Silva, and then it was 2 defensive lapses within 2 minutes of each other in the 80th minute. But between those times, West Ham absolutely.
No, West Ham were the better side.
Yeah, Chelsea didn't look like the team
it's been
going for the title.
It's been 7 or 8 weeks since I've seen Chelsea put in a creditable performance.
Yeah, and what is that down to? That's what I'm wondering. Is it formational? Is it mentality? What's going on there?
I think it's a lot of things. I think it's down to misusing players. You know, you bring Havertz on, but you play him as a central midfielder. You're not playing him ascended. You put Havertz put Werner on as a wide winger. And I understand a lot of people say he played on the left, but at Leipzig he played as more of an inside forward on the left, playing off a centre forward, whereas Frank Lampard's system has his wingers really hugging the touchline. Deliver balls in. It seems as though Lampard still, after 17 games, doesn't have a grasp upon what his best system is, what his best team is. I can't remember him playing the same team for more than 2 games in a row.
It's feeling there's a bit of board pressure as well. I can't understand why he dropped Giroud. Obviously, Giroud is not the type of player who's going to run 40, 50 yards and bang in a goal from the edge of the box. But he's been scoring goals consistently, starting, even coming off the bench. And I feel like the board are getting on Lampard saying, you've made us pay 50 million for Werner. Make him start, make him score. I don't think they should. If it's not working, drop him, bring Giroud back in.
Yeah. But then you say 250 million in the summer. Is that not enough for you to be pushing top 4? I think you're underestimating the quality of that squad, Sam. It is a quality squad. We said it at the start of the year.
This is what I mean. It's a fantastically quality squad, but it has to be utilised in the correct way. They have to be bringing these players through in the right way. And our midfield, we shouldn't be playing. The 4-3-3 system has been failing for weeks, and he keeps sticking with it. We've got a player on the bench in Billy Gilmour who can quite easily now sit at the base of that midfield and has the talent to do that week in, week out, and quite comfortably sit next to N'Golo Kante at the base of midfield and have Havertz in a 3 behind the striker. Those two at the back, they'll sort everything. You don't need to worry about it with them. And then play Havertz in a forward position, have Pulisic, have Hudson-Odoi, and then have Giroud up front. Yeah. That's more attacking grit than you're going to get playing Werner as a wide winger. Look, I could sit here and go on all night. I've been very upset about it for the last.
Tom, do you have any
for the last few weeks
comments about what's going on at Chelsea and how they can improve?
As you said, Lambo, I think Chelsea's squad is good enough to be challenging for not even challenging, getting top 4. The money they spent. I think Chelsea were crying out at the start of the season for a left-back. They found one. Chilwell's a fantastic player. A centre-back, Thiago Silva's doing very well. The keeper seems to be doing well. I know he's made maybe a mistake or 2 here and there, but he's improved the team massively. It's just up front. I think when it clicks with Chelsea, it will click. It will click very well, and you'll see him shoot up the table very quickly. I think it's just finding that right balance. As you said, in midfield, Gilmour, 2 games last season against Liverpool in the Cup, Everton, man of the match straight away. Why are you not giving the kid an opportunity? When you're playing Kante, Jorginho and Kovacic, they're too similar. They all want to play the same position, and I think that's putting pressure on them, making them fight out while on the pitch, and I don't think that's working.
I do.
And
think
as I said, I
he's
think Giroud
misusing
should be
Havertz.
starting.
Yeah, he's definitely misusing Havertz. I've seen it a lot on Twitter at the moment with saying how Havertz is sort of being shoehorned into this centre midfield position in a 4-4-3 when you should really be playing a sort of a 4-2-3-1 with him as the number 10. It just seems obvious.
If you actually watch Havertz play, he is a decent player. This boy he can play football. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that we've bought a quality player here. But there is a period of adjustment into the league. He obviously had. I don't want to make excuses for him. He had COVID just as he arrived. He was starting to break into the team. Then he got about COVID and was out for 2-3 weeks because he had it badly. He was laid up.
Definitely, I think that's huge.
And it was. They reckon he's still not back because obviously when you have a respiratory illness, he lost his ability to kind of breathe properly. He couldn't train for 2 weeks, and I think he is still working his way back from that. But I still back Frank Lampard as a manager. I think he'll figure it out at some point. But it's got to a point now where the sheen of having a club legend in as a manager and being kind of invincible to losing his job is gone now. There's no argument that we can put together now to say that he isn't in a really sticky position in terms of his job.
I think it's too early to get rid of him, though. I've got a lot of Chelsea friends from home who are already calling for him to go. I know they've had a poor couple of results, quite a few results in a row, but I think it's too early. If you're giving somebody 200 million, you can't then give them 3 or 4 months of the season. I think give him till the end of the season. If it's not worked out, accept it and move on. I don't think it's a right time.
I think it's not. Yeah. It's too early to get rid of him. I think if you're gonna buy into this project of that Frank Lampard is putting together, then you have to give him the time to make it work. But if we get to the back end of the season and we're finishing 6th or 7th, then I know what our owner's like, and he'll go.
Yeah. 100%.
And then whoever the replacement is. But we should move on because we've probably used up quite a lot of time talking about that. So we will move on to the blue side of Manchester. City have had a bit of a resurgence. City were always gonna rekindle some form this season because they're Man City, but arguably from places we didn't expect them to find form from. The placement of Kevin De Bruyne as a false nine in this system, a kind of free roaming false nine, is proving to be a masterstroke. And John Stones is also looking revitalised in the system and providing the defensive stability that we've kind of been waiting to get from him over the course of. I mean, since he moved to Manchester City. Sorry, but I've got a scratching on my door. My dog is trying to get in. I just keep having to open but no, John Stones looking really good at the base of that defence. And Ruben Diaz as well looks a fantastic signing.
Yeah. John Stones has always had the ability. It's just at Man City, he hasn't really played with somebody who is stable to allow John Stones to play the way he wants to play. Last season with Laporte out all season, he didn't have that person. He would take risks, and in previous years, Company would have got him out of trouble. In this season, Diaz. When you've got Otamendi playing next to you, he's not going to get you out of trouble. He's going to make the mistakes with you. And I think that showed up in the end.
No, I definitely think City have had such a massive upturn in form, and as Sam says, the sort of strikerless system that Pep's going with is they looked brilliant against Chelsea. The 3 goals that they scored were just, I mean, obviously Chelsea having their own problems, but it looked very easy for City to score those goals. And obviously Foden is an absolute. He just pulls the strings in that midfield, and for such a young player, it's very encouraging as not just a football fan, but as an England fan to see a player of his calibre playing that well. And obviously, we look at the table here. They've got 2 games in hand on Liverpool, and they're only 4 points behind them. So, when they're level on games with them, and if they win the next 2 games, they're above Liverpool in the league. It really does show that even though teams can have slow starts to the season, like United and City have had, that they can really sort of push up the table with a string of good results, and that's what we're seeing here with City.
Yeah, definitely.
The thing that impressed City fans, I think, is they did have the results on their side, but they weren't playing well at all. I don't think they were causing teams problems. They were getting lucky wins, and a lucky win is a win at the end of the day. But their performance against Chelsea was nothing short of unbelievable, really. Yeah. And again, last night against Manchester United, last night, wasn't it? They were just, again, they didn't really look in danger at any point. Going forward, they looked like they were going to score every time. And this is a United team who've also been in the form of their life, really. In the past few weeks, they've been unbelievable. And for them to play against United like that it was a worry as a Liverpool fan.
Yeah. Well, you look at the two Manchester clubs, and they both seem to have a bit between their teeth at the moment in terms of their form, and that does sort of spell danger for Liverpool. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, we'll move from the blue side to the red side. I know we didn't. We all sort of sat here before and went, "Oh, we've got to talk about United doing well."
We have to talk about United doing well because me and Jamie have been pretty quick to slate Manchester United over the weeks.
As have a lot of people. I want to say that.
No. We had Michael Dixon on, and he was so ready to go after Paul Pogba. It was unbelievable. But no, they're playing really well. It's this whole joint top thing. They're second. Let's not get it twisted here. There is no such thing as joint top unless they're level on goal difference, which they're not. They're second.
They do have a game in hand now.
With a game in hand, granted, but they're second, Jamie.
Yeah.
Let's not let them convince themselves that they're joint top.
Hey, I'm not saying they're top at all. It's as far as I'm concerned, and I don't want to put it all down to Fernandes because obviously there's 11 players on the pitch, but I think it's one of the best purple patches I've seen from a player in the Premier League in a while. And I think you can't downplay his achievement, and I think just United have so much quality going forward, and obviously they still, especially after that Leipzig game in the Champions League, they still looked fragile at the back, and Ollie still can get tactical decisions wrong, but I don't know. We'll see what happens in this January transfer window as well with what United do, but. Yeah, it's looking dangerous, and if they continue this form, which obviously a lot of people hope they don't, then they could seriously be up there at the end of the season with in terms of the title race. So, definitely. Tom, what do you reckon about United? Because we haven't heard from you yet, and he's trying to stay quiet over there.
There's a reason for that. I hate to say, United have been fantastic recently. There's no doubt about it. Fernandes, he's just a really good player, annoyingly. I think Pogba's played really well the last couple of games, which hurts me to say more than anything because I want him to fail so badly. I do think United are one serious injury away from dropping massively. I think you can say that about any side, but I think if not Martial, Rashford or Fernandes get injured, I think they'll slump. But as it stands, and I haven't said this about Manchester United, but they're coming to Anfield, and I am a little bit worried.
Yeah.
Because if they hit the right tune, they won't even just beat us. If we're bad and they're good, I think they could give us a bit of a hiding, if I'm honest.
Definitely.
I still think they're gettable, though. I think at the back they're poor.
What I will say about Fernandes is that because West Ham played Manchester United a few weeks, about a week or 2 weeks before Christmas, and the first half they rested Fernandes, and West Ham just blew them out of the water, like completely. We were 1-0 up at half time. We could have been 3-4-0 up if we finished our dinner, and then Fernandes comes on at half time. Ollie chucks him on, and the game just flips on its head completely. They score 3 goals, go away with the 3 points, and I think when you have a player that gives the whole 11 that much confidence, because that's what the best players in the world do. They make the rest of the players around them even better, and that's what Fernandes does. He makes all of those players better. So it is dangerous, but I will say, you said obviously you can say that about any team, but I will say that if Fernandes, even 2 weeks, if 2 weeks out, and then United sort of up a creek without a paddle, as far as I'm concerned. But
They will
I
need to
hope he
rest
doesn't
him,
get
that's
injured.
for
We're not hoping that Fernandes gets injured, obviously, because
Yeah, no, of course.
but we
I mean,
They will
like
rest
watching
him
him
soon,
play.
though. They do.
What's that?
I think what's important to remember is that we can sit here and say if this player gets injured, if that player gets injured. For a team to win the league, we're being brutally honest, they need to get lucky with injuries. Liverpool won the league last year at a canter, but got very fortunate with their injury list. It was pretty limited throughout the whole season. You know, they kept players like Salah, Van Dijk, Mane. You keep your top players fit, and you've always got a chance. So, if United keep Fernandes fit, it'll only be, and they challenge for the title, it'll only be the same thing that's happened to a team every season that have won the league. Because I can't think of a team that's won the league title with a massive, extensive injury list. It just doesn't happen because your top players have to be fit for you to do it. That's just the reality of Premier League football. So obviously there's two sides to it. I'm just sat here playing devil's advocate because Manchester United being really good upsets me, and I'm trying to keep my sane.
All right, I think we're done talking about United. We just sort of wanted to give a shout out to all the other teams that are up there as well. You know, you look at Leicester, Southampton, Everton, and Aston Villa, who have been unbelievable this season, and Villa especially have confounded everyone. No, I'm not talking about Tottenham. No.
We don't talk about that here.
Tottenham are doing what they're capable of, but I think a lot of teams are sort of confounding expectations, especially teams like Southampton played absolutely unbelievably against Liverpool the other day.
They're unbelievable.
And Hassan Hüttl's really got everyone singing from the same song sheet that down at St Mary's. So it is a really exciting season, and we'll see what happens with it. Obviously, with what's going on with COVID and all that, but it's very exciting, and we're excited to be with you this season here at the Offline Podcast, on streams and on videos, and seeing it all unfold. It's honestly been an absolute pleasure. So
always 2021 is going to be a big year. So the plan is from now, obviously we're not going to do power rankings this week because we've kind of covered who's been good and who's been poor in that little segment there. You know, Manchester's been brilliant, Liverpool and Chelsea haven't. So we're going to talk about just kind of the next set of fixtures. Obviously, this weekend is a very turbulent set of FA Cup games that could or couldn't go ahead, depending on what's happening with the lower league opposition. That remains to be seen. But we do have a game week of Premier League after that, and I think what we're going to do is what we do every week, and just quickly, very, very quickly, go through the games and analyse them, talk about them, who we think is going to do well and who we think isn't. So we'll launch into that. Has anyone got the first fixture?
I've got the first fixture. The first fixture is Sheffield versus Newcastle.
Oh, this is... I'll tell you, it's a full game. This is a 6-pointer if I've ever seen one.
Oh, I think that's harsh on Newcastle.
Well, we'll talk about, because this is I believe these are the games in hand. This Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are the games in hand. So we'll just cover those. It saves me talking about Chelsea, which is quite nice. So we'll just cover the 6 games that are over the course of the midweek.
Yeah.
So Newcastle against Sheffield. We'll do a little segment on Sheffield United quickly, just to please the Newcastle fan who we know to keep him entertained.
Newcastle fans.
I haven't seen a performance from a Premier League team this dire in my entire life. I've never seen anyone get to this point in the season and be so relegated. It's untrue. They are so finished already, and it's the 7th of January.
Yeah, I don't think you can go into the new year with 2 points and even have a sniff at staying up. If it happens, then it's going to be the greatest escape in the history of football.
Yeah.
But they have to start now. They have to start on Tuesday if they want this to happen. And Newcastle, I think Sheffield can get at Newcastle. But again, Newcastle are just good defensively. They're not going to let Sheffield have chances, and then they're just going to hit them.
I just can't see it. I've never known a team that I can think about, and I just can't see them beating anyone.
Yeah.
I can't look at Sheffield United and go, yeah, they've got a chance against them. They've got a chance against them. You've got a chance against everyone, but I just can't see them doing it. They haven't got the quality in their side to beat these teams. And that's a really worrying thing, is that no one can see Sheffield United beating anyone.
No.
You know, that's
not even
that's
teams
really
that play
troubling.
really poor football like Newcastle. You know, Newcastle fans won't mind me saying that as well. The brand of football that Newcastle play is horrible. But yeah, we'll sort of what's everyone predicting for this one? Lillywhite, what are you saying for Sheffield Newcastle on Tuesday?
I don't know. My head is telling me Newcastle. My heart is telling me Sheffield United. I get the feeling that, I don't know, I'm going to say that Sheffield United might nick a point. I think they could against Newcastle. If they get it right, they get it right. I can't see them keeping a clean sheet. I'd go 1-1.
Okay, nice. Sam, what are you saying?
3-0 Newcastle.
3-0 Newcastle. I'm going to go for
it's going to be drumming.
A 2-1 Newcastle win. And we move on to the 8:15 games, which is Burnley versus Manchester United at Turf Moor.
Cracker. This is a banana peel for Manchester United.
Absolutely.
Hugely.
This is the game. You know, this is arguably the toughest fixture in the Premier League calendar. If you're looking at tough places to go and win, especially when you're on a run of form, this is kind of the places where runs of form go to die.
Yeah. And Burnley have been better since the sort of start of the season. The past 5 games, they've won 3, drawn 1, lost 1. So, you know, and when Dyche sort of has the bit between his teeth, especially, you know, the players are going to play up against United. They always do.
I was going to say.
And I think this is definitely, you described it perfectly. It's a banana peel if I've ever seen one. But what do you guys reckon from this one? Results wise.
I'm gonna go United to win 2-0. I've said all that, but I don't think Burnley are quite good enough against United. So I'm going to say United will win 2-0 away.
All right. Lovely. Lillywhite?
I think it's going to go one of 2 ways. I think United will either blow Burnley out of the water and absolutely batter them, or Burnley will nick a win, I think. I'm going to go, and it's probably going to annoy a few people, I will say Burnley are going to win 2-0. I just get the feeling someone like Chris Wood, Ashley Barnes, they could just have a field day against United's back line of Lindelof and Maguire.
Yeah,
I can actually hear Johnny Leck's Twitter. I can actually hear.
I seriously do. I think United were back a little bit fragile against that long ball. And
I can't wait for him to demand to come back on this podcast to defend his club again because someone said they're going to lose a game.
Burnley.
Oh no!
Burnley. I'm going to go in the middle of you two. I'm going to say a draw. I think it's going to be a really tricky game for United to properly make chances in, and I think Dyche has got his defensive shape down now. I think they had a lot of problems at the start of the season with sort of Tarkowski trying to force a move, but now that seems to have settled, and I think that sort of defence of me and Tarkowski, not me, Ben me, although I think I'd fit in quite nicely to a Burnley side. I don't know about you lot.
Jamie, there's too many roulettes in your game to trust you in that back line.
Dyche should give me the air dryer treatment for doing too many ball rolls. No. Anyway, we'll move on to Wolves versus Everton. This is a great game.
It's a good game.
Really good game.
Tom,
Two interesting attacking sides.
I'll go, again, annoyingly, I think I'll go with an Everton win. I think it goes without even saying that Wolves are going to struggle without Jimenez. I know they've recalled Patrick Catroni from his loan move. Read about, so I think even the managers know that they're going to struggle. I think they bought in this youngster, haven't they, this Silva, 18 years old for 30 odd million. He's a little bit young at the moment, a little bit weak, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite filled out yet, has
he? Exactly. He looks like an 18-year-old, so you can't really expect anything else. I think Everton will win. I think they'll just edge it 1-0. Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with you there. Sort of a 2-1.
I'm gonna third that. I'm gonna go 1-0. Okay. Carry on with Tom's result. I think that's probably the most likely outcome.
Yeah. Anyway, we move on to Wednesday with Manchester City at home to Brighton.
this should be a drubbing, shouldn't it? This should be a classic Manchester City drubbing.
It does have all the hallmarks of it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You look at their last
Manchester City
three
Etihad
results
drubbing.
against Brighton. The last three results have been Man City 4-1, Man City 4-0, and Man City 5-0. The last three.
Yeah, this is
results
going to be
against
this is going to be a killing. This is going to be a killing. I reckon it's going to be 4-0 City again. They're on cloud nine at the moment. They're scoring for fun, and they're playing great football. And Brighton can't seem to pluck a decent result out.
Yeah, especially without Lamptey. I don't know if he's going to be back at any point, but I think he's so pivotal to that team at the moment. I don't want to say too much about him because Sam just goes on about him. But, what do you think?
My God,
I think 3-0. I think it's one of those games I don't think you'd want to put a bet on because you never know. It's one of those that's so obvious that maybe it won't happen. But I think, especially in the form that City are in, I can't see him doing anything but winning and keeping a clean sheet as well. 3-0, I reckon.
Yeah, lovely.
Definitely.
Oh, this is a great game. Wednesday night, 8:15, Aston Villa versus Spurs.
Hope they don't get cancelled, I guess.
Yeah.
I was going to say, a massive outbreak. I mean, I doubt that will go ahead now. But we can talk about it. But if there's a big outbreak in their training ground and a lockdown, let's talk about it as if it's going to happen. 3-0 Aston Villa. 3-0 Villa. Walk over.
That's not too
7-2
glasses for Sam there.
Heung-min Son's going to break both legs in an accident on the pitch. No, I do think Villa will get. I do think Villa will get a point. I can't see them getting any more than that. Is it at Villa?
It's at Villa. It's at Villa Park. So.
Yeah. I can see him getting a point. I can see if it goes ahead, I can see them getting a point, but nothing more.
Tom, what do you think?
I'd say Tottenham 3-1. I think they'd win it quite comfortably. I think they'd get a goal, as they do, just play on the break.
Yeah.
They do it pretty well, annoyingly, again. So I'd say 3-1, but as you said, I can't see it going ahead.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go for a Villa win because I'm a massive fan of Aston Villa. And I think they've got way more quality than people give them credit for. And I think they're going to go, especially at home, I think they're going to give Tottenham a tough time of it.
I shouldn't really go against Villa, should I, considering what they did to us at the start of the season?
At Villa Park as well. Anyway, we move on to Thursday. Bit of a London derby, in a way. Arsenal versus Crystal Palace.
Yeah, it's one of the more measly London derbies, isn't it? It's more a case of location than a case of rivalry.
They're in London. We'll go with that.
Yeah, I was gonna, Crystal Palace isn't even really that London. It's Croydon, isn't it? It's more Surrey. But I wouldn't say that because if there's any Crystal Palace fans,
definitely London. But
whatever. We'll let them have it. I don't know which way this is going to go because Crystal Palace have been in and out of form all season, really.
It totally depends on which Crystal Palace turns up. And I feel like I say this every week, but it is actually true.
No, but it does. They've been in and out of form all season. They haven't found a consistent run of games. But I really hope they start playing Eze more regularly. You know, he's not starting for them, and it's a travesty because it seems to be every week he's producing moments of magic for them, and they should be playing him more often. I think if they play him. Yeah, I think if they play him against Arsenal, he will be able to get at Arsenal's midfield.
Yeah.
But obviously, then there's the argument of going the other way, whether not Diafra Saka, Bukayo Saka, Diafra Sako is he still at Crystal Palace? He's probably not.
No, that's Mamadou.
It's late.
He was at West Ham.
It's late.
West Ham.
I've had a can of Coke.
Say it the other way.
What I will say about Arsenal is that if they continue to sort of bleed Emile Smith-Rowe into this team, they're going to have a lot of success because I think he's a quality player.
He's a great
player.
Yeah, I think that sort of Martinelli, Smith-Rowe, Saka, maybe Lacazette or Aubameyang up top, I think is working really well for them at the moment. Obviously, it worked really well against West Brom. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I personally, for me, I see Arsenal winning this one. I see them winning it quite handedly as well. I think they're on a good run of form at the moment, and obviously the news of Mesut Ozil leaving will sort of dispel any sort of unrest that they may have in the training ground at the moment, and we should see an improved Arsenal from now on, at least. As an Arsenal fan, you'd hope. I'm not an Arsenal fan though, so.
No, well, neither am I.
Yeah.
None of us are Arsenal fans. None of us are fans of Arsenal. You know, no one likes them.
I'd like them to lose, but I'm just trying to be as unbiased as possible.
Trying to be as impartial as possible.
Yeah.
I think you've probably gone with the option that most people would go with in saying that Arsenal get a result. I mean, considering the fact that Crystal Palace won their last game, they're probably going to lose this one, just judging by their form chart this season. So,
definitely.
I'll say that Crystal Palace will lose. I'll say that Arsenal will come away with 3 points. I think it'll be 2-0.
Very nice. Tom, any thoughts on that one?
I'd say 2-1. As you said, I think getting Ozil at the club, he's a good player. They just need to get him gone now. Just get rid of him. Dispel any of that was going on. Get rid of any of the dead wood at the club. Bring in maybe a couple of good signings. Maybe they can get that Uwar in, or they'll have to wait until the summer.
Love to see him.
But those youngsters have just been unbelievable for Arsenal. That Saka is just... Even last year, he's through all the turmoil that club's been going through the last few months. He is
shining light in it.
Every week, the fans are saying Arsenal are dreadful. I hate the team, but Saka was brilliant. But and Smith Rowe coming in, the way he's played in the last few games. I mean, they played really well against West Brom, but they scored one unbelievable team goal. I don't know if you saw it, and it included all of the youngsters. And that's not just a fluke. That's showing that they're a cut above the rest.
Yeah,
I think Arsenal win it 2-1.
I've absolutely sworn by Bukayo Saka all season. I think it'll be a travesty if he doesn't make the Euro squad. If I'm being brutally honest, I think it'll be a mistake not to take. I think it'll be a mistake not to take him.
Yeah.
I'd personally at the moment take him. I'd take him over Sancho. You're going to have to make a decision.
We will be doing. That's another exciting thing that's going to be happening on this channel as well. We'll be doing lots of Euros coverage this summer as well. And hopefully it'll be not on a Discord call. Hopefully it'll be in real life.
It'll be in person at a pub.
The Euros, surely.
Whoa, chill.
Expect cans of dark fruits and we'll maybe. I mean, if football comes home, it's going to be the greatest episode of the Off the Line podcast you've ever seen. It would just be me trolleyed, just singing England songs for 2 hours. We'll do a stream watching the final.
That's all that's getting me through the lockdown. Just the thought of those. I just can't bear with it being cancelled again. I just want to go down the pub, watch a game. And spent £5 on in the air. I don't
all over everyone. Yeah. That is it. That is it.
Well, I will say
anyway,
in the meantime,
I believe we come. Okay.
Oh, that
I was just going to say I was going to terminate the episode.
I just want to say something quickly.
But I will allow you.
That obviously, lockdown has been announced this week in the UK, and we know that it's been tricky for a lot of people, and we just wanted to extend our hand out, as we've done multiple times on this channel, to say that you're not alone during this, and it's really important to keep talking to your mates, checking on your mates. Me and Sam are massive believers in sort of improving mental health throughout the lockdown period, so I just wanted to say that one quickly. I don't know if any of you...
Yeah, no. I wouldn't. No one's checked up on me, and I've done a Sinead O'Connor and shaved my head. So I've gone Britney Spears 2007 vibes already, and we're 3 days in. I mean, a week I'm going to be like the Dalai Lama, like walking around like a naturist in a thong, like with a sling over my back. So we don't know where I'm going to be.
Actually all right,
so,
mate? Yeah.
Yeah, are you actually okay? No. But no, it's definitely important. I said this on the stream the other day. We obviously can't show you that because the Premier League took our stream down. We got copyright striked by the Premier League for showing 2 minutes of footage from their stand. It's great. So the stream was like, no. We live. I'm not being funny. We live streamed to 10 people. Who can go and watch that video? Oh, it's ridiculous. Anyway, what I said on that stream that it's important. Jamie's reiterated it here. It's a message that we believe very strongly in that mental health is an issue that is ongoing through this, and it's kind of a silent pandemic that's been buried underneath obviously the main issue. But like I said, to help people who are struggling to talk about their issues.
Yeah.
And
one final thing, I just want to say a massive thank you to Tom for coming on today. You've been a cracking guest, mate. I know you've wanted to come on for a while, and we're really chuffed that you've been on, and we'll definitely have you on in the future if you want to come on the stream or
the stream,
pleasure.
Tom, you want to come on the stream? They're chaotic, mate.
Hopefully I'll be on next time when we're actually winning a few games as well. That would be good.
Yeah. You can come on and have a positive conversation.
I do want to have a debate at some point. I want to bring on a Liverpool fan and a Man United fan. That should be a good content.
You can count me out for that one because I'm too tempted. I'm too tempted just to sit here and stir a little pot and get them all really riled up at each other. Our first meeting in person, everyone, we're going to have all these conversations. The first meeting in person is going to be a fist fight because of all the stuff we've said on this podcast over the course of lockdown. Yeah. It's just going to be an all-out bar fight. It'd be great. But no, thanks, Tom, for coming on. It's been a pleasure. And to everyone sat at home dealing with lockdown, get on with it. Enjoy it. Try not to do anything ridiculous and... there's light at the end of the tunnel. That's about as positive as I'm going to get, unfortunately. So
big softy. Right.
We love you all, and we will catch you next time.
See you later.